The icy betrayal. I got home from my last Marine Corps deployment 3 days before Christmas. The cold Michigan air felt familiar, but the silence inside my childhood home was not. No lights, no tree, no scent of my mother's cinnamon rolls, just a deep, biting cold that made my breath plume. A single note lay on the kitchen counter in my father's slanted handwriting. Went on the Caribbean Christmas cruise we always talked about. Your grandfather's in the back room. You handle it. Dad. My blood turned to ice, colder than the air. I dropped my duffel and ran. I found him in the unheated guest room. Grandpa Frank, a former Army sergeant, who taught me to shoot straight and live with honor, was curled under a thin sheet, his skin waxy and blue-tinged. The thermostat in the hallway read 48 degrees Fahrenheit. He was shivering violently, breaths shallow, abandoned, left to die for the sake of a vacation. "Grandpa!" I rushed to him, wrapping him in my Marine-issue extreme cold weather coat. His eyes fluttered open, glassy with hypothermia. He recognized me. "Lena," he whispered, his voice a rasp. They don't know about the trust." He passed out. I called 911, my hands steady from training, but my heart raging. In the ambulance, under the stark lights, a fire ignited in me. This wasn't just neglect. This was a premeditated erasure. My parents, Richard and Elaine Mitchell, had seen him as a burden, a problem to be solved by winter's chill. The ER doctor was grim. Severe hypothermia, malnutrition. If you'd been a day later, he didn't finish. He didn't need to. As Grandpa slept under warming blankets, I made calls. Not emotional ones, tactical ones. First call, to the family attorney, Mr. Yates. I need everything on my grandfather's estate, wills, trusts, deeds, now. Second call, to my commanding officer. Sir, I need an emergency family leave extension, a situation involving elder endangerment. Third call, to a private investigator I'd used during a deployment fraud case. I need a full financial audit on Richard and Elaine Mitchell. Focus on large withdrawals and property transfers over the last 5 years. The PI called back in 2 hours. Your parents took out a second mortgage on the house 6 months ago. They've been draining a joint account with your grandfather's name on it, and they listed the house for sale yesterday. Closing is in 3 weeks. They weren't just abandoning him, they were liquidating his life from under him. Grandpa woke, weak but lucid. He gripped my hand, his eyes burning with a soldier's fury. "The trust, Lena, the Patriots' trust. Your grandmother and I set it up after Korea. They think they got everything when she died. They didn't. It's hidden, in the house." "Where?" "Behind your grandmother's portrait, the one in the den. She always said you were the only one with true honor." The hidden weapon. I drove back to the frozen house, my parents' home. The den was a shrine to their pretensions, fake antique furniture, cheap reproductions. My grandmother's portrait, a gentle oil painting, hung crookedly. I took it down. Behind it was a small wall safe I never knew existed. The combination, Grandpa had whispered, was my enlistment date. Inside, not money, but something more powerful. Documents. 1. The Patriots' Trust, an ironclad, irrevocable trust established in 1972. The primary asset was not cash, but mineral rights to 150 acres of northern Michigan land the family had owned for generations. Land recently discovered to sit atop a massive lithium deposit. Estimated value? $8.5 million. The sole trustee and beneficiary upon my grandfather's passing? Lena M. Mitchell. 2. An updated will, leaving the house and its contents to me, explicitly disinheriting my parents due to moral unfitness. 3. Financial records, meticulous logs showing my parents had stolen over $220,000 from Grandpa's pension and savings over the years. They'd left him to freeze, thinking him a penniless old man. He was sitting on a fortune they knew nothing about, and he'd entrusted it all to me. My revenge wouldn't be screamed, it would be documented. I went to Mr. Yates with the papers. His eyes widened. The Stewart Lithium Survey? This confirms the rumors. This trust is a fortune, and their theft? This is felony financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. What's the play? I asked, my voice all marine. We move before they return. We secure everything. We acted with military precision. Step 1. Filed an emergency petition with the court using the medical reports and PI's findings to have me named as Grandpa's legal guardian. Step 2. Served a cease and desist on the realtor, halting the house sale, citing the newly presented will. Step 3. Mr. Yates contacted the county prosecutor with the evidence of theft and endangerment. Step 4. I moved Grandpa, once discharged, into a secure, warm, assisted living facility with clockwork care, paid for by an advance against the trust. We built an impenetrable legal fortress, and we waited for them to come home. The reckoning at the door. They returned on December 28th, tanned and laughing, lugging souvenir bags up the walkway. I was waiting in the living room, the heat now blasting, the trust documents laid out on the coffee table like a battlefield map. The door opened. "Lena, you're still here?" My mother's smile was bright and empty. "How's your grandfather?" "Alive," I said, not moving from my chair. My father's smile faded. "Where is he?" "Somewhere safe, somewhere you can't reach him." "What's that supposed to mean?" He dropped his bags, his voice turning hard. "We left him in your care." "You left him to die," I corrected, my voice flat. "You turned off the heat, you stole from him, you tried to sell his house." My mother paled. We just needed a break. He's so difficult." "Quiet, Elaine," my father snapped, his eyes on the papers. "What is all this?" "This," I said, tapping the trust document, "is the Patriots' Trust, grandmother's portrait. It holds the mineral rights to the North property. It's worth about $8.5 million. The color drained from his face. "That's that old fairy tale. That land is worthless." "Not according to Stewart Mining. The lithium deposit is confirmed, and the beneficiary isn't you." I let the silence hang. "It's me." Grandpa updated everything after he realized his son was a thief. My father lunged forward, but I stood, a head shorter but radiating a command presence that stopped him cold. I'd faced down insurgents. A greedy accountant in a polo shirt was nothing. "Sit down, Dad." He did, deflating. "The prosecutor has the financial records. Grand theft, endangerment of a vulnerable adult. You're looking at years in prison. Or what?" my mother whispered, crying now. "Or you sign these." I slid 2 documents across the table. 1, a full confession and restitution agreement, admitting to the theft, repaying every penny with interest, and forfeiting any claim to the house or the trust. 2, a no-contact order, legally binding them to stay away from Grandpa and me, permanently. If you sign, I instruct the trustee not to press criminal charges. You walk away with the clothes on your back and whatever is in your checking account. You refuse? I nodded to the window where an unmarked car with 2 detectives sat parked. You leave in handcuffs. My father stared, a broken man seeing his own reflection in the glass of his lost fortune. He picked up the pen. His hand shook as he signed. My mother just sobbed, scrawling her name beside his. "Get out," I said. "The locks will be changed in an hour. Your things will be boxed and left at a storage unit. The code will be texted to you. Never contact us again." They left, not as my parents, but as strangers defeated by their own greed. The New Legacy. Grandpa recovered in his new apartment, which had a view of the woods he loved. We sold a small portion of the mineral rights. I used the money to start the Patriots Promise Foundation, providing support and advocacy for neglected and exploited seniors. My parents moved to a small apartment in another state. I heard through the grapevine my father took a low-level bookkeeping job. The restitution payments come automatically from his accounts every month. Sometimes, revenge isn't about hatred. It's about justice so absolute, it feels like peace. They tried to erase a good man with the cold. Instead, they unleashed a Marine with a cause and a trust fund. Grandpa and I spend our Christmases warm now. He likes to raise a glass and say, with a wicked grin, "To family, the ones you're born with and the ones you choose to keep." I clink my glass against his. The ice in our drinks is the only cold left in our world. They returned from their cruise expecting to find a problem solved. They found a war they'd already lost, waged by the granddaughter they'd underestimated. If you've ever been underestimated by those who should protect you, remember, your strength is your secret weapon. For more stories of silent strength and breathtaking justice, hit subscribe. Your power is waiting to be claimed.